Sunshine City Show. Today I want to discuss with you a little bit of the Bible and asteroids and how the two could combine. Well, as we know, stars are referred to as angels in the Bible. In Revelations 12 verses 4, which is a prediction book, the last book in the Bible, Christians were told, do not read it unless you know what you're doing, because it's future predictions. And a lot of people have tried to predict Revelations and failed. And we've had some great prophets, Barry Smith, that kind of thing. He predicted that you never put a prediction date on God. That's one thing you never do. So Revelations 12 verse 4 talks about a third of the angels falling to earth, or a third of the stars falling to earth. Same kind of thing. Now, stars are often referred to as angels. In the Bible, as you go through it, it's often referred to as angels when they're referring to stars. And I don't know how it got mixed up with the body of the church, because the body of the church is meant to be the Christ. It's meant to be able to predict these things. Now, here we are. We're predicting asteroids are coming before Trump's election. I mean, who could predict such nonsense? According to NASA, there's asteroids coming again. And possibly, I mean, they're talking about the planet X, and it seems to be like Satan's star or something. And I've also wondered with pyramids, when they say they line up with the stars and what that was creating, whether it was creating a portal or it was creating an alignment with the stars in heaven. Now, we don't know which stars are on which side, because according to this world, the stars are planets. Yet, we're in this deception that stars are planets. The only star we've seen is Mars. And with Mars, we've been using Devon Island as Mars, having a rover with the exact same landscape which maps onto the planet Mars, supposedly. Some people say, well, hey, the moon is round. And yes, it is. It's round. It's round. You're correct. We've only seen one face of the moon. You know, they talk about the dark side of the moon, and we've never seen it. In the Bible, it talks about the firmament, the separation from our atmosphere to the heavens, which is the stars. So if humans are saying that they can get through the firmament, then they're getting through into the heavens, supposedly. And the church has accepted this. The church has accepted when they landed on the moon in 1969. The question is the moon in the heavens, or is the moon in our atmosphere? According to flat earth theory, the moon is in the atmosphere. I don't know. I have no clues on this one. But all the images of the moon with them jumping behind obstacles in front of them, and they're jumping up and down really high, and it looks like a trampoline. And as they're walking around, they look like they're on wires and harnesses. It looks like an exact harness walk. You can watch it. I would suggest if you're going to watch the moonwalk, you have a commentary on it where someone proves to you that that's a harness walk, shows you what a harness walk looks like, and then shows you the moonwalk. And it's the same thing. When they're in the capsules in space, whatever they are, you call them whatever you want to call them. They're not in space, they're on Earth. So the images we're getting with faded arms, catching actual handrails, the way they roll, how they lean the head when they're like this, where they're leaning the head, they shouldn't be leaning the head in space, as someone was saying, and they're doing all these things. And you can't say that Trump does not know about this. And Trump was talking to them on visually, and they're talking about drinking their own piss. They recycle it and do whatnot. And Trump was saying, because it's kind of like a joke, because they're not even up there, better you than me, that kind of thing. What can he say? Talks about Space Force. He talks about launching to Mars with Buzz Aldrin there. Hey Buzz, we're going to Mars, buddy. And Buzz Aldrin's like that, like continually like that the whole time in the meeting, where Trump is talking to a meeting of all the leaders and everybody else is there, and Buzz Aldrin's up there as a guest, and they've got him there and they've got a camera trained on him the whole time, and he just looks very freaked out. What I think happened, someone said to him, Buzz, we know you faked it. Why is he also the only astronaut alive? It was 1969, it's not that long ago. These were young guys, and for some reason they've all died off. Armstrong and everyone else died off. 5 years ago these guys were alive and kicking. Now they're all dead and it's just Buzz left. So here we are, Buzz Aldrin up there. What I think happened is someone went to him beforehand. We're on to you, Buzz. We know you did not go to space. And that's why he freaked out, because he thought they were going to reveal the truth. And he was like, this is a Freemason thing, do you really know what you're doing here, guys? And it's like, well, we're on to you, Buzz. We're on to this Freemason thing that's going on. As you know, with Freemasons, go up to uni, even in New Zealand, university, you can get a free education. If you go for a social science degree, which I was going for, I was no good. For the Freemason, you need to be a politician, a lawyer, that kind of thing, and they'll sponsor you. But it comes with a cost. You have to turn up to the Freemason meetings, you have to do the ritual, and the ritual has you sold. It's another thing about Freemasons. My father's generation, my grandfather's generation, they were all Freemasons. They all went to church. Churches died. When I was young, churches died, and they died rapidly. And Freemasonry died as well. And so it was revealed that people shouldn't be part of the Freemason movement, and those people removed themselves from church. Some of them stayed, and the Freemason movement itself died. Literally died. There's still Freemason movements out there, but when it was revealed that there was more to the Freemasons, they set up Washington, the streets and everything else. The reason it was set up is because everyone was pretty much a Freemason. It was kind of like a club. Back in the day, you didn't have the internet to entertain your mind, so belonging to a club was kind of what people wanted to do. And, just was a bit of a boys' club, time out from your wife, going to a boys' club. And, we get into these Boy Scouts and Boys Brigade, and as you become an adult, it was a Freemason. And then you have your recruiting and you go your levels upwards. But each time you do a ritual, it's a ritual on the Bible. Not so much in New Zealand, but in America. Well, it would have happened in New Zealand as well. They were promoting politicians that were Freemason politicians. So they're making sure. They say that God selects the leaders in the world. I don't know anymore, because it also says in the Bible that Satan will have his way with the world. So we're in that time period right now where Satan is selecting the people that he wants to run the world. And you can't tell me a Dern at 37, 38 years old knows what's going on in the world internationally. She might know United Nations. She did work under Tony Blair as a secretary. She worked under Helen Clark. You can't tell me she was selected by God to run this country. Howard Morrison's fast-tracking vaccines right now. He's just come on board because Melbourne and Victoria want to do lockdowns till late November. And he's saying we're going to fast-track these vaccines and take us out of it. He wants to do 18 million vaccines. So he pretty much wants to vaccine the whole of Australia, and they talk about it being voluntary, and we know it's not going to be voluntary. We need to look upwards, because the fallen angels is a future prediction. It's not a prediction of the past. A lot of people thought, well, the fallen angels were already here, when Jesus chucked the evil spirits into the pigs. That's the Nephilim. That's the offspring of the Watchers. There was 200 Watchers, and they came down and they decided to live amongst us. And they had offspring, Nephilim, and their offbreeding has probably damaged the whole of the human DNA as well. We probably got a little bit of Nephilim in us. But people are worshipping. There are religions today worshipping Nephilim. Nephilim are a subspecies under the angels. Now, God made the angels, so there's no way that the angels can overtake God. And the angels created the Nephilim. Now, humans might create computers. They're going to be smarter than us. And in some ways, it looks like they're overtaking us. But at the same time, you've got to think about it. There's the angels putting the images in our brain of how to create, fallen angels more so than angels, creating how to create these robots. They're actually really being, all the inspiration and everything is coming from fallen angels. All these ideas, technology, everything else, they don't have to visitate us. I mean, they talk about people going down to Antarctica to talk to the fallen watchers, because that's where they reckon the watchers are. The 200 watchers were taken out in Noah's time, in that period of time. So when we had the flood and the rainbow effect, it was signalling a time, and I think it was also signalling a time that there would be no interference from above the firmament, that it was closed up. But with these stars falling right now, there is a possibility that the angels are coming here. Whether or not they're all falling, I mean, we have to have a third of the stars falling, but it could be a gradual thing. I mean, they're talking about it taking months, and how can they measure a football when they can't measure what's on the moon? They can't even see their own stuff that they've left on the moon. They can't see the flag, yet they reckon they can see a football coming months away, coming here on Earth. So it's not true what's going on. But I think they have an idea of Planet X being Satan or a major demon coming here. And that's a possibility, because they reckon Planet X is breaking up. We don't know what exactly it means, but it says a third of the stars will come down here. So maybe Planet X was where that star cluster was. We're talking about clusters of virus. Now we're talking about clusters of angels and demons. And so I wonder, when the pyramids are in the exact places, we had that kid online who knew that there was a pyramid in South America somewhere, and had mapped it out exactly where it was according to the stars above, and he knew where that pyramid was. And I do wonder what the alignment is between the pyramids and the angels above, but I do wonder if it's a portal. And you think, well, what are these angels sitting in one place for? Well, time can be frozen. We don't know how it works up there. And time was created here, but not up there. So when Elon Musk says we live in a simulation, and he talks about AI and the dangers of AI, he knows a lot more than he's making on, and he's been led down this path. All his ideas, that kind of thing, I'm sure he's a bright man, are coming from above, and it's taken a toll on him. And he doesn't seem himself right now. He's very slow and a lot different than he used to be. Even when I see him doing his presentations, he's a lot different. It seems like he's not fully into this presentation of giving this chip thing that goes in your head. He's not fully into that. Some people say, well, that's to do with the visual stuff, but it's also probably to do with cyborg technology that will happen eventually, because gaming is going down that path. I mean, gaming utopia, if you watch the future movies where people are gaming and they need to take these parts so they can visually act out the action features of a game. And I've talked to you about gaming in my last video about New World Order and how they are simulating New World Orders in each scenario, in each game. There are people, rich people, taking over games, because the games have one theme. It's a money theme. It's a very, very similar. And it's like a rerun. It's the same scenario. Even before you start the game, you realize that certain people are going to run this show and going to be in charge of it. They have rich guys with them, and then they have people that are recruited under them. They get them to do the dirty work sometimes, and then they sort of like sit back, don't have to spend money, and just kind of like watch the action. It's the power. People get off on power. And this is what's happening in games right now. So we have the stars, we have the asteroids. Thank you all. Hope that opens some light. And it's not what we were taught in church, and I think we need to rethink everything right now. Thank you all.